I'm here with Tomasz Drwiega, core developer at Parity. Thomas, what does Parity do?
So mainly our efforts concentrate around three pillars. So our main focus is on core and protocol development, and it means implementing full node implementations for Ethereum client, a Bitcoin client. Recently we started to work on IPFS client, and like the things that we are most excited about and that will be our focus in the next couple of months is a Polkadot POC.
Okay, and what is your role specifically as a core developer?
So I work on the I work on the core part of what we do in Parity, which means this node implementation, but also a little bit on JS as well. And my role as a core developer, for a long time I was maintaining the JSON RPC interfaces exposed by Parity Ethereum client. They are actually separated as a library, so any Rust developer can use the same libraries that we use for RPC in Parity. And recently I was focusing on Polkadot and a custom database that we are going to implement for Parity.
Okay. Now, talking about libraries, we recently had a vulnerability in the multishake wallets because of something that went wrong with the library and the way it was set up. Let's not talk about the technicals, but about how you dealt with the situation, because this is one of the frustrating elements of open source software, I guess. So how did you go about it?
I mean, obviously inside Parity, we were really terrified when it happened. So I remember that it was like 8th of November, I think, 8 a.m. in the morning in Berlin office. And together with my friend, we were just trying to figure out what actually happened and what are the consequences. And the first thing we tried to do is to make sure that the funds are sort of secure, so that there is no one who can transfer them out. And as it turned out, actually no one in the world can transfer them out because they got frozen in the contract. So we made sure that the funds are actually frozen, and then we tried to figure out like how it actually happened, how it was possible to self-destruct this library code. We checked our GitHub repo, and it turned out that the bug is not present there in the repo, but the contract that was on the blockchain was a different one.
Okay. So then what? Because you'll probably have been inundated by angry people, and there's at some point you need to tell them what's going on and what is or is not going to happen. How did that go about?
I mean, we were in touch with the owners of the wallets with the most balance in them. Actually, this is also one of the things that we did at the very beginning. We tried to figure out what is the scale of the bug, like how many funds are actually frozen there. And I mean, all of the people in the community actually, obviously they acknowledged the issue, but they also were very helpful. They were asking how they can help to get this sorted out. I mean, there is no solution yet, as far as I can tell. But yeah, we are working on every possibility.
Okay. Did you at that time feel that you were part of an ecosystem? Because you mentioned the term community.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, from obviously there was a lot of hate going on, but we also felt like reassurance from the community, and I definitely felt that Ethereum is a community. So it's not just us, like creating some software and throwing it out of the fence or like throwing it through the fence, but rather we are in it together.
Okay. So without knowing whether or not a solution will be found, do you think this actually helped tighten the community or strengthen the ecosystem?
I mean, it kind of makes some problems very visible in the Ethereum community. Like we don't really have a framework or like a process how to deal with such situations, and this is also often raised as a kind of an issue in Ethereum community in general. Like what is the governance process? Who is deciding on new features or hard forks happening, and what kind of hard forks should be happening in Ethereum network? So yeah.
All right. I just lost my question.
So sorry.
No, that's not your fault. So part of the ecosystem, you also mentioned Polkadot and working on Polkadot. Mm-hmm. What does that bring to the world of Ethereum? Okay, or maybe IPFS, I think.
So like there are separate things. Polkadot is a separate thing from IPFS. They also solve different problems. So IPFS is a network that is already running, and it's like a decentralized storage for data. But Polkadot is a project that tries to connect existing chains and also kind of so Polkadot is a framework to create new chains with different state machines in a secure way. Currently, you need to, if you want to run a new chain, you need to get miners to form proof of work consensus around it, or proof of stake or anything. In Polkadot, you will be able to create new chains that can run in parallel and use the pooled security of the relay chain. And also what will be possible is to exchange messages between those chains. So it will be like, it can be some transfers, so some token transfers between the chains, but also general messages, I mean, any data, so possibly even like contract executions.
So it brings a whole new level of connectivity in the world of blockchain.
Yes. We also believe that it will be possible to kind of bridge existing networks like Ethereum or Bitcoin and make them part of the Polkadot ecosystem. So, I mean, possibly in the future you will be able to send a transaction from Ethereum that will run something on a parachain and then feed the results back. And also a very nice consequence of this is that it is possible to connect public and private chains, because you don't really need to know what is happening on this other chain, but you know that there are some messages that it generates and they reach you.
All right. So is that already completely functioning, or is it still in development? What would you think?
So it's in development, definitely. We a month ago we started a public repository for that, and we started to work on a first proof of concept. And yeah, there is work going on like as we speak, and hopefully we'll have a real proof of concept that people can run in few next months.
Okay, then that brings us to looking forward to the coming blockchain hackathon almost. What are your expectations with regards to how the blockchain hackathon can help further develop the ecosystem?
I mean, all events happening around blockchain ecosystem are positive in my opinion. So we really need really creative developers working on different problems that are there, or even not problems, but like applying what we have right now to real problems in real world. Yeah, and I'm really excited that it is happening here as well, because like the people from the university or the students, graduating students, they usually have a lot of really good ideas. They have very open minds, and they are not kind of like biased by the commercial world, let's say, and. Yeah, and I'm really curious what they will hack together.
Right. What would your top tips be for somebody preparing to take part in a hackathon?
Just do some research before hackathon. What kind of implementations you can use, and what are the different trade-offs that they give you. For instance, choose your consensus algorithm. Think if you want to do something on a public chain, or rather if you want to do it on a private consortium chain. Also, try not to store data on a blockchain, try to store something else, like a hash of the data or a Merkle tree root, and put data someplace else. Especially if you are using public blockchain. And if you want to do anything on a public blockchain, make sure that the transaction fees are feasible. I mean, that the thing that you are trying to build is not too expensive for public blockchain environment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.